Hey everybody, this is NUERA here, bringing you a quick tutorial on adding some motion tracking to your video. Now let me say that this is specifically Buju to After Effects. Buju is a program used for motion tracking. If you don't know what it is, make sure to Google it, buy it, do what you gotta do, and get back to this tutorial. Now let me say that this is going along with my camera shake tutorial and my Kickstarter cinematic pack, both on my channel. Links will be in the description, make sure to check those out. So hopping right into it, you're going to want to have Buju open, and you're going to want to have some type of AVI. Now I say AVI because Buju does not accept MP4 formats, which most everybody is going to be using. So if, for example, if you're using my cinematic scene pack, you're going to want to easily convert that using a program like Vegas Pro, Premiere, or even After Effects to convert that into an AVI. Now I went along and did that already. Here's my AVI. It is from the Carrier Cinematic Pack, Scene 4 to be exact. So if you're going to want to follow along, make sure to check out the Cinematic Carrier Pack and bring out Scene 4 and convert it to an AVI. So you're going to want to open Buju. You want to go to your toolbox area. Now let me say that this is a customizable menu, so you can set this up to your needs and add or delete buttons as you get more familiar with Buju. But right now we're going to work with the defaults. So what you're going to want to do is click this import scene button at the top left, and you're going to want to find your footage. You want to navigate through your browser to find it. Here is my footage now. You want to open that, and you're going to want to match these three specific settings right here. This is all really you're going to mess with. You're going to want to have your frame rate matched. Mine is going to be 60 FPS, or specifically 59.94. And the camera movement is a free move. Nodal pan is if it's only a left, right, up, down type of movement. There's going to be no forward and backwards movement. So this is a free move video I'm using. And interlaced is a codec or container option used when you're rendering your AVI or something, or MP4 or whatever at that. Now this video is going to be a non-interlaced video, so I'm going to leave that at not interlaced. You're going to want to click apply and close this import menu. Now if you're using a first person video captured at first person, there's going to be HUD around here, or even at third person games. So basically if you have any HUD around your video, you're going to want to go over here to add polymask, and you want to outline that, and you're going to want to do that for each piece of HUD, and that's going to subtract that from the tracking, and it's going to help make a more clean video. So once done with that, or more clean track, sorry. Now once you're done with that, you want to go over to track features, and you're going to want to click your sequence. Usually if you freshly open Buju, you're going to want to click, or it's going to be already on sequence 1. Now you're going to want to click the frames that you want. Now this is going to be a all frames track. Now say if you only want to track a specific part, you're going to want to click selected range, and you're going to want to put the frame start and frame end point, and you're going to want to keep track of what the start and end frame is, and you'll know why later on in this video. But I really recommend all frames. It's going to help you out. If you don't need the other parts, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. You're just not use those specific parts. So you're going to want to click start, and that's going to begin your tracking process. Now I'm going to speed this up and I'll get back to the video. So now that your video is tracked, or your video features are tracked, you're going to want to go ahead and scroll through your video a little bit and make sure the program or software is getting the basically gist of what's happening in your video. So everything looks about right here. So we're going to move on to the next step, and that's going to be a camera solve. Now, camera solve is usually going to be a lot faster than the track features because the track features does most of the work in general. So you're going to want to go ahead and click that and leave everything to the exact same settings. It's going to be your sequence, usually sequence 1. It's going to be, for me, all frames are usually all frames. And if you had a selected range, you should have the number memorized or written down. So you're going to want to put the start frame size, start frame point, and the end frame point, and you're going to want to press start over here. Now, I recommend not using this optimize camera smoothness. It's kind of an iffy setting, and you really don't need it. So we're just gonna leave that off for here. So I'm gonna go ahead and click start. Now, as you can see, this is gonna be much quicker than the track features. So now that the feature points in your video are now solved into a 3D representation of what's going on in your video, you're going to want to scroll along this timeline and make sure that these points on your video basically look like they're moving along with your video itself in 3D space. Now, a cool thing that you can do, if you can, you can go up here to this menu up here and click this 3D, set active view to 3D mode. You can basically see all your points. Now, this track itself does not look too good, but you can also see the camera, how it moves around the scene. It's pretty cool. It comes in handy in different types of tracking, but it just so happens that this one's not very good representation of that. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna flag for export, and that's gonna basically, instead of pulling each one of these points out and bringing them into After Effects, we're gonna want to basically select the ones that we deem important, and I usually get one for, or pick one for each part of the scene. So say, you know, this one in front of the whole bunch over here, it's gonna give that depth. So say I want something over here, I can just get the 3D position points for that and copy it and put it onto whatever I was using, say a text or a 3D file. So you're gonna want to right click it and go to flag for export. Let's do this one up here. You want to flag for export. Let's get one in the back of the helicopter, or at the back of the helicopter. Flag for export. And we'll get a few more in the middle. And probably one up here at the top of the propeller. So that should be about right. That should have basically a point exported to After Effects that would show each exact depth of the video or of the scene. So you want to go over here to export to camera or export camera. You want to click that. You're going to want to pick your scene, which it should be scene 1, and your camera solve, which also should be camera solve 1. Now you're going to want to go over here to export type. I don't know what it is by default, but you're going to want to go over here to After Effects Maya.ma. Now Maya is a 3D program. It just so happens that it works with After Effects. I don't know the relationship between those, but it works well, and so we're going to click that. Now also there is a Cinema 4D option over here, so if you're a C4D user instead of an Element 3D user like me, then you're going to want to go over here and click C4D, and it should follow the same guidelines. So you're going to want to go over here to move type. Move type we're going to leave the same, moving camera and static scene, because the scene is basically staying the same and the camera is going to be moving around the scene. So this helicopter and say scenes on the in a video are going to be basically not moving, but the camera is going to be moving around, so it's going to be capturing different angles. So we're going to leave that to moving camera static scene. You want to go over here to export flag tracks only, and that's going to basically weed out the ones that you do not deem necessary, and it's going to just bring those points into After Effects. Now this is a pretty important one over here. You don't want to go to scale size by, and you're going to want to make that 1000, exactly 1000. Now if you leave it at 1, it gets really big. The null objects brought to After Effects get really huge, and it gets real messy and disgusting, and it doesn't look as good. And I don't believe the track works normally in that scene anyway, in that sense anyway. So you're going to want to put that to 1000, and you're going to want to go to save. Sorry, before I save that, I'm going to go over here to file name. This is going to be the output of where it's going to bring the file of information used in this video. So it's going to be a .ma. So I'm just going to leave it untitled project for now, and we're going to click save in my motion tracking tutorial folder. So after that, you're going to want to go to the save on the export camera menu, and it's going to very quickly export that to a file that you can use in After Effects. So I'll meet you in After Effects in a moment. So now that everything is basically done and the video is tracked with Buju, we're gonna hop into After Effects. So you're gonna want to have After Effects open, and you're gonna want to find your .ma that you found before, and you're also gonna want to have access to your AVI used originally for the track. So you're gonna want to drag that, or go to your After Effects import menu. You're gonna want to right click, click import file. You're gonna want to navigate to your .ma, and you're gonna want to leave this as the only option there. Come into a import as a composition. Now what this is gonna do is this is gonna give you a composition with the name of your .ma. Now for my MA, it was untitled project, so it's gonna give me a composition named untitled project. You're gonna want to double click that, and you're gonna want to also import your original AVI into the scene, or into the project area. So you're gonna want to drag that into your scene, and I recommend putting it towards the bottom so nothing really gets under it. I like to keep everything nice and clean, so all your editing should probably go up here. So now right off the bat, you can see the null objects are basically the points that you flagged for export. So if you didn't flag for export, you would have all these little squares around here. Now let me go zoom in so you can see them. Now we scaled by 1000, so it kind of zooms it in and makes it more pinpoint. So like I said before, if you did not flag for export, or you don't flag for export, you would have a bunch of these all everywhere, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't like how it gets really cluttered. You can have about 500 of these little null auto objects, and it gets really cluttered and annoying. So like I said, I like to keep everything clean, and I like to flag for export. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the scene, and this is more of a test. You're going to want to, I'm going to bring this down to about half. You're going to want to go through your scene, and you're going to want to make sure these null object points stay with the video. And as you can see, everything looks about right, and everything's staying exactly with the video. So the track was successful. Now basically this part of the video is going to be all Creative Commons, creative control. You're going to want to do whatever you do. If you're bringing a 3D object in here via Element 3D, which I don't have at the moment, or bringing in some simple text in here, you don't want to bring whatever you have in here. It can be any kind of layer. Sorry, I'm gonna make that into maybe NUERA. So whatever you're bringing in here, you're gonna basically want to go over here to this little 3D cube, and you're gonna want to click the corresponding square under it, and that's gonna basically make this text object into a 3D layer, or it is now manipulated in 3D. So right off the bat, you can see that it doesn't make much of a difference. It makes it a little harder to move, because basically now it's not going off the screen size, it's going off the camera view of it. So for example, the reason I like to flag for export is because you can use the position of each of these null objects and basically copy that into your text, and it's going to be right there next to it in 3D space. So let's go over to the one at the middle of the helicopter. If I could get it. There we go. So you're going to want to highlight the null object you want, or the point you want. You're going to want to click P while it's highlighted, and that's going to bring up the position information. Now since these are on 3D, they're going to have a third value. Now this is going to be important because it's going to give that depth of where the point is in 3D space. So you're going to easily want to click the position, you want to hold Control, and you're going to want to click C, and that is going to copy the information. So now you're going to want to go to your text or whatever you're using. You're going to want to click P on that also, and then you're going to want to highlight position, and you want to hold Control, and you want to press V. Now as you can see right off the bat, it kind of now is going to be held right next to it, and it's going to move along in 3D space, and it's going to look very nicely, or very nice. Now as you can see, it looks a little odd because it's still facing towards the camera, and it looks a little cheesy and not right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the rotation tool, and we're going to want to move this around so it looks like it's not super straight and it's not cheesy looking. So I'm going to position this the way I want. You can do whatever you want. Just to match it to your scene. If you're following along, I recommend using probably this middle one just to get the gist of what's going on. So just putting it simply like that, just a few rotations, and now it's going to look much better. You can scroll along the video and it's going to basically follow it the whole time, and it's going to look really cool. Now this is just a quick example. You can do a lot of really creative things with this 3D tracking ability. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope everything here was helpful, and hope you learned a lot. So if you think this video was helpful, drop a like, subscribe for more content coming up, and take it easy.